Hey, it's me, Vicki Marie. And I'm sorry I'm a little bit late as usual. I always seem to be late these days. So just before I went live, I decided to change my workstation around a little bit. And of course, ended up disconnecting everything and having to sort of get everything ready again. And, then I had to get my water. Then there's so much to get organised, get the candle ready, get everything ready. And anyway, so I'm 10 minutes late. Sorry about that. I hope you're all well this Sunday morning. Happy Sunday. And just hope you're all well. I think I'm all organised. I've reorganised my workstation a little bit. So I've got two computers, so I can go on the laptop, which is where I can do the emojis. Which, let's do an emoji actually. Oh God, I've got two mouses as well. Get confused and I pick up the wrong mouse for the wrong computer. Maybe it's all too much. Anyway, good morning. Good morning. Now, remember, you members out there, I'm going to light a candle, or a few candles, 4 candles even. No, sorry, I shouldn't make jokes. But we're lighting candles, as always. We're lighting the candles for all the missing people, for the souls that lost their lives in the Sydney stabbings, and really for anyone who needs. Oh, don't tell me my thing's not going to work. Anyone who needs a candle lighting for them, for whatever reason, that's what the candles are lit for. And if you remember, we've now got candles on the members' emojis. And I just want to say the emojis have been really popular. And I've got loads more emojis. So if you're thinking of becoming a member, now's the time to do it, because the more members I have, the more emojis I can unlock that I've got already made, but I'm only allowed to put so many on. But every time I think I need a little few more members, and then I get 14 more slots for emojis, and I've got some good ones on there. But anyway, so we've lit the candle. Now another person or people that I want to especially think of this morning is because we're going to talk about the Sydney stabbings, and the stabber, he has been named. And I hope everybody who just jumped to the assumption that it was a Muslim extremist feels sorry now without waiting for the information, because everyone jumped on it and was saying, oh, it's terrorism and it's this, that and the other. And apparently it isn't, according to the police. So, but the person I want to light a candle for is him really as well. Seems like he had quite a lot of mental health issues. And I'm not excusing that, because obviously lots of people deal with mental health issues day in, day out, and they don't go out and stab everyone. But the people that I'm really good, we're going to listen to what his family have had to say. And I really feel for them, because they haven't done anything wrong, and they're very supportive of the policewoman who has killed their own son. Now, it may even be a relief, because you don't know what they've been through with him. Apparently he's had mental health issues since he was 17 years old, and he was more or less semi-estranged from the family. So they've come out in praise of the police officer that shot their own son. They said he's been dealing with issues. So I just want to say a little prayer for them, because that's a lot for them to deal with as well. We've said prayers for the victims, the families of the victims, especially the mother, and we're praying that the little baby pulls through. And then sometimes who gets forgotten are like his family members, who are innocents as well in this, and it'll be very distressing for them to lose their son in this way. Okay, so that's what I just wanted to say first of all. So we're going to talk about a few things today. We're going to talk about, I've got some updates in the Sydney stabbings. We learned a bit more about the victim. We're going to look at a police conference, but also we're going to look at a police conference from where he lived, the area where he comes from. And I found that more illuminating than the police conference from Sydney. You know, the conference from the other police department, we seem to glean more information from. And, you know, of course, more details are emerging every day. But the police are specific at the moment. They say they don't think there's any terrorist connection, that he had any particular grievance against any particular type of person. He did kill 5 women and only 1 man. But that's probably just because women, you'd be thinking of them as being more vulnerable. It doesn't, or easy to attack. It doesn't necessarily mean that he was specifically targeting women. But that, again, I'm sure all that will come out when they start examining his texts, his computers, and they'll get an idea of who he was angry about. You know, there's lots of rumours, but, you know, we don't deal with rumours on this channel. So we don't deal with rumours, we deal with facts. So then we're going to talk about the missing mums in Kansas. There's been arrests made. I've talked about this case. Just find the notes. So that is Gillian Kelly and her friend Veronica Butler. Veronica Butler and her friend Gillian Kelly that were going off to some godforsaken place to do a child swap. You know, Veronica had joint custody, but it looked like she was going to get full custody. And she went to pick up the children from the grandma because the estranged partner, the children's father, is in rehab. And anyway, something happened because there was blood found in the car. The car was found abandoned. The women had disappeared. And now there's been 4 arrests made. And the people arrested have been the grandma, Tiffany Adams, Tad Cullum, which I think is her partner, but we're going to look at it later. And also arrested have been a couple, Cole Twombly and Cora Twombly. So 4 people have been arrested, but as far as we know so far, the bodies have not been found. And then the last thing that we're going to talk about, and very briefly, because I don't like talking about war because it's so pointless. To me, all war is a crime. I don't take sides in wars. Every time an innocent civilian is killed, that's a crime. You know, civilians get caught up in all this rubbish that's normally centered around religion or, you know, religion. It's very often centered around religion and the whole basis of whatever religion, whether it be Muslim religion, Christian religion, Jewish religion, all religions, isn't the first, the primary sort of, you know, aim of a religion is peace, surely. Peace, love, don't kill other people. You know, don't matter what religion you call it, that is generally what is supposed to happen. You know, you're not supposed to kill people. That's a crime. That's a sin in most religions. So how people who claim to be religious, in whatever faith denomination, go out and kill in religion's name, I just don't know. So I won't be saying much about that, just like really telling you what's happening. I may not even do that, to be honest, because what's the point, you know? And also, I don't think we can change that at all. We can't make it any difference. These countries, leaders, you know, it's just like, oh, my bomb's bigger than your bomb. They just go off and do it anyway. They don't care about people. They don't care about civilians. They don't care about anyone except maybe land, money. You know, it's just such a pointless argument. And, you know, I don't think it'll ever change, unfortunately. So it's too depressing, that, so I might not talk about that. So I'm going to say hello to everybody, first of all. Wish you a happy Sunday. Hi, Kelly. Kelly's listening while she's working. Hi, Sally. Yeah, well, you know, Sally, if the live you can't make a live, which I know time, depending on the time, you can always catch up, watch it later. Hi, Ali. You've got a busy day. Good. I hope it's busy. I hope you've got a busy day in a positive way. Morning, Bridget. You've got to go to work. Oh, work. Oh, I know. Luckily for me, I don't have work on a Sunday. Well, I have this work, but this is not work. I enjoy this. Yes, the policewoman, very brave, very brave. And yes, he was known to the police through mental health. Anyway, we'll see in the particularly the police press conference from where he comes from. That is very illuminating. Hi, Ninja. Yeah, you've obviously seen it. I'm going to do today's live later on, today's evening live. I'm going to do about Sebastian Rogers. I don't think the Proudfoots are involved. I don't think they have done anything wrong. That's my personal opinion. I think they've been hung by the court of public opinion. That's my opinion. I mean, I'm not saying there weren't problems in the home, but there's problems in every home where there's a teenager. Believe me, if my son would have gone missing at 15, I'm sure everyone would have thought I'd done it, you know, because there were always arguments. So, you know, I personally don't. Anyway, but I'm going to look at that later. So, hi, Jim. Good morning. So let's look, first of all, at the police update from the Sydney police. Oh, a lot of windows open, as you can imagine. So, where's the police? Oh, well, let me just read to you first about the suspect from Sky News. We'll look at Sky News before we look at the press conference. So, yeah, all the people who made comments, there's a few people made comments on my... It's funny because sometimes when it's a controversial subject, you know, people come on who I've never even seen before as chatters or commenters and just come on and say, oh, it was, you know, some Muslim or, you know, make these racist comments and that. You cannot assume anything until you know. So, Sydney stabbings. The police named the attacker who killed 6 people as Joel Couchet. He was 40 years old. One of the victims of the stabbings attack in a business Sydney's shopping centre was Ashley Good, who was killed as she tried to save a 9-month-old baby. So this baby has undergone surgery and, you know, touch wood, hopefully it's positive because we haven't heard anything. You know, the old adage, no news is good news. So that's certainly true in this case. And here he is, Joel. So, you know, we can see... God, why is this bloody stupid advert coming up? We can see that, you know, obviously this was taken in better times. You know, his eyes look clear. You know, doesn't look like he's got mental health issues. But what does someone look like when they've got mental health issues? You know, what do they look like? Anyway, this is him. See if I can make that big. I don't know why it's coming up like that. Joel Couchet. And as I say, I want to send, you know, prayers out to his family because that will be hard for them. Not only they've lost a son, but as I say, judging by what we read about him and the problems, it could be quite a relief in a way. And I know that sounds awful, but if this man has been going through, you know, very bad mental health issues, you know, and there's, you know, maybe there was no way he could be helped. I'm just being realistic. I know that sounds cruel, but for his family, I would imagine that they've probably spent all those 40 years, or certainly since apparently he was 18, 19, when he started with mental health issues, worrying about him. He's been itinerant apparently lately. And, you know, they had only infrequent contact with him. I suspect his mum's been worrying about him for years. and now at least she knows she doesn't have to worry where he is, what he's doing. All those things that would be going through her head. And it seems like from the press conferences which we'll watch, he would always seem to veer on the edge of criminality as far as his issues were concerned. Yes, there was allegations of domestic abuse, allegations of threats of violence, but it never came to a criminal conviction. So he sort of hovered on the edge for a long time. And then finally, he's like gone right overboard, But anyway, we'll see that later. So, New South Wales police said on Sunday that Joel Couchy, 40, was responsible for the attack on Saturday afternoon at a busy Sydney shopping centre before he was fatally shot by a police officer, a very brave police officer as well. Yeah, I agree, Heather. What mental health issue does result in stabbing a baby? But unfortunately, it is. I don't. Yeah, we can't get our head around it. But what we have to remember is we're not in his head, luckily. So Couchy, or Couchy, I'm not sure exactly how it's pronounced. Police said he suffered from unspecified mental health issues. If he was schizophrenic, that you cannot, schizophrenic people do things. Not all, though, do. See, this is the other thing, of course. What we always have to remember is there's not many people these days, I think, that aren't suffering from mental health issues. They always say, oh, he was suffering from mental health. I don't see how you can be suffering from mental health. Everyone's got a mental health, like a body health or, mental health issues, mental health problems. And of course the problems with mental health issues is you can't see them. It's not like even if you've got cancer or you've, broken your leg or, something physical that people can see and it can be treated. Mental health issues are not like that, are they? They can't be seen. People don't understand that. I've known people with severe mental health issues. And the thing is, if they'd had cancer, everyone would be really sympathetic towards them. But because it's issues that make them act out, do strange things. I mean, obviously, I'm not talking about stabbing a baby here. I'm talking about, but, people acting violently or appearing to act, to threaten violence, maybe not actually do it, act strangely, all those things. What I'm trying to say is it's different for if someone has got broken leg or cancer or, but it's just as serious an illness. Mental health issues and schizophrenia or any other, it is just as serious as cancer, just as deadly as cancer. It can, if it doesn't end up killing other people, like this guy has gone out and killed other people, it ends up maybe in the death of the person themselves because they end up taking their own lives because they can't cope with it anymore. So there's it is lethal. Mental health issues are lethal, and they're I don't think they're taken seriously enough. Anyway. So Couchy, who police said suffered from unspecified mental health issues, launched the knife attack at the Westfield shopping centre in Bondi Junction. Investigators, and please, people out there that were saying it was terrorism related, it's not. Please listen to what the police say. Investigators are not treating the incident as terrorism related and have spoken to his family. And let's share a thought for his family. New South Wales Assistant Police Commissioner Anthony Cook, we're going to look at that news conference, told reporters, we're continuing to work through the profiling of the offender, but very clearly to us at this stage it would appear that it is related to the mental health of the individual involved. There is still to this point no information we've received, no evidence we've recovered, no intelligence that we have gathered that would suggest that this was driven by any particular motivation, ideology, or otherwise. And this is the mother of the little girl that's in hospital, who is apparently in a serious but stable condition in hospital. So hopefully these two men, who she threw the baby, didn't she, to these two men, these two brothers. We watched this. Let's just watch this again. It's
Mum got
positive.
stabbed, and Mum come over with a baby and threw it at me and just holding the baby. Yeah, it looked pretty bad, but yeah.
And how were you able to help out?
It just helped us holding the baby and trying to compress the baby, and same with the mother, trying to compress the blood from stopping and calling ambulance and police.
And what did you use to help stop the blood?
Just from the shop. Just kept yelling out to get some clothes, get some shirts, and just help us to compress and stop the babies from bleeding.
And what sort of condition was the actual baby? We understand it was a 9-month-old.
Mother holding the baby so well and really compressing. I think the baby's fine. The mother, unfortunately, me and another lady, which were compressing, she started to have a lot of blood coming out of her mouth.
Yeah, so these brothers, if that baby survives, which hopefully she will, I think they will be key in helping her survive. So his family released a statement today through Queensland Police, and we're going to look at that as well. Well, actually, it's here. So they said, we're absolutely devastated. So I'm just going to put some candles on for the family, for his family. I just think it's important that we remember them, because this, you know, imagine waking up one morning and your son, who you hadn't seen for quite a while because of the mental health issues and whatever problems were going on there, and then waking up one morning and there he is on the someone's on the TV, stabbed all these people, including a baby, and it turns out it's your son. Can you imagine how traumatizing that would be for you? I mean, honestly, my heart really goes out to this family. So they said, our thoughts and prayers are with the families and friends of the victims. So I'm getting upset. And those still undergoing treatment at this time. Joel's actions were truly horrific, and we're still trying to comprehend what has happened. He has battled with mental health issues since he was a teenager. I wonder if he was, you know, I have my own thoughts about that. I wonder if drugs were involved, and that's why he started with because sometimes people don't have mental health issues and then they start with drugs. And I know this for a fact from a psychologist that I spoke to. She said she was a lady in her late 50s, and she told me that someone could go, she'd never taken drugs, but she said, I might have, if I started taking drugs tomorrow, that might start me with mental health issues. That's how it can work. Sometimes it just takes a trigger. Everyone's got it in them. Everyone. There's nobody is above having a mental breakdown or, you know, starting with mental health issues, and things can trigger it. And not only drugs, it could be alcohol, it could be a traumatic event in your life. There's lots of things that could trigger these issues. But she said, everybody, nobody is safe, if you like, from mental health. Just like nobody's safe from cancer. Doesn't matter if you've got cancer in your family, does it? Although you're more likely probably to get cancer if you've got, and the same with mental health issues. If you have mental health issues in your family, you're more likely to have mental health issues yourself. But it's not exclusive to that. You know, it doesn't mean to say that if you don't have any mental health issues in your family, you're safe. It's never going to happen to you. So I think sometimes now that that I just think this family must have been through a lot with Joel. I mean, and he'll have been through a lot in his own head, and it's culminated in this horrible ending. But, you know, I expect, you know, he hasn't exactly been happy himself either. Anyway, Joel's actions were truly horrific, and we're still trying to comprehend what has happened. He has battled with mental health issues since he was a teenager. 6 killed in the stabbings. New mum Ashley Good has been named as one of the 6 people killed in the stabbings. the 38-year-old was reported to have passed her baby to 2 men after she was injured. We just watched that. We just watched that interview. Okay, and her family also made a statement to ABC and said, "Today we are reeling from the terrible loss of Ashley, a beautiful mother, daughter, sister, partner, friend, all-round outstanding human, and so much more. We appreciate the well wishes and thoughts of members of the Australian public who have expressed an outpouring of love for Ashley and our baby girl." Anyway, at least it sounds that the baby, when the baby recovers, and we're going to say when, not if, it sounds like there is, although that poor baby has lost its mum, she's lost a mum, it sounds like, you know, there is a support system there that hopefully will, you know, help to bring her up well anyway. The 2 men who held and cared for our baby when Ashley could not. Oh, dear me. Words cannot express our gratitude. We're struggling to come to terms with what has occurred. The family added that after hours of surgery, the baby was doing well. The daughter of an Australian businessman has also been named as one of the victims. Yeah, they haven't named all the victims yet, as far as I know. Dawn Singleton, 25, was also killed, according to widespread media reports in Australia. And her dad, John Singleton, is a well-known Australian entrepreneur. And according to her LinkedIn profile, she studied a degree in communications at the University of Technology in Sydney. A 3rd victim was named as Faraz Tahir by the Australian Pakistani National Association. They described him as courageous. And said he was a Pakistani national who had moved to Australia for work. Let us stand together in solidarity, offering support and prayers to those grieving and affected by this heartbreaking loss. Their statement said. New South Wales Police Commissioner Karen Webb, you know, the miserable, people have criticised me for criticising her, but I don't like her. I'm sorry, I don't. I think her manner, she's probably a brilliant policewoman, but I don't like her manner. Said in a press conference that a man in his 30s killed in the attack was a security guard at the shopping centre, also one of the security guards. So 6 people, 5 women and 1 man, aged between 20 and 55, were killed in the attack, and 12 others remain in hospital, including the little girl. Okay, right, we want to find the, let me just put that down. I want to find the news. Oops, I don't want to listen to that one yet. So first, I'd like to see the news conference from the Sydney Police. I did have all this set up, but then when I ended up switching off the computer because I decided to change my workstation around, I lost it. But anyway, I'll find it again. Here we go. Is this it? I think this is the new one. Oh, need to share it.
Assistant Commissioner, Commander of Central Metropolitan Region, just let me know when right for me to go, and am I right here? Thank you. We're good? Thank you. About 3:10 this afternoon, a male walked into Westfield at Bondi Junction. He left the centre very shortly.
No, this is the wrong one.
About 3:20. As he moved through the centre, he engaged with about 9 people, it is clear that during that engagement he caused harm to those people.
So this is the right one. Yeah, because of course everywhere was closed down. And when I was at the Grand National that time, when there was the big bomb scare, we couldn't pick up our cars. I mean, it ended up there was just a load of people wandering around Aintree because they evacuated us all from the actual race course. So everyone was just wandering around the streets of the town, not knowing where to go, what to do. You weren't allowed to go back, get your belongings. You weren't allowed to get your car. That's when mobile phones were like just starting to be popular. And luckily, some people did have mobile phones. Not everybody had a mobile phone. I remember I just got and I came out. I saw a taxi. I'd just take me to the nearest pub because I was thinking if I get to a pub, there'll be a phone because I didn't have a mobile phone with me. Jumped into a taxi, went to this bar. Everyone was talking about this, obviously in this pub, there were loads, it was packed. I phoned my mum and dad, I'll never forget. So I thought, my mum and dad, they'll be watching the Grand National on the TV and they'll think, oh my God, is Vicki okay? They'll be worrying about me because they knew I was at the Grand National that day and it was all, it was like this. It was all over the news about the bomb scare and, it was constant coverage on the news. And I phoned my mum and dad and my dad just went, "Hiya, love," like that. And I said, "Oh, I just wanted to let you know I'm okay. And he goes, "Oh, what do you mean?" And they hadn't even been watching it on the telly, so they didn't even know about it. So I was phoning them up to say I was okay, and they hadn't even been worrying about me. Anyway, then I managed to get in touch with some of the people that I work with, phone them on their mobiles, etc. And then we all ended up staying in a hotel overnight nearby the company that I work for, the Tote. They put us all up in a hotel for the night nearby. And then the next day I had to go and get my car. So it's an awful situation. So, just even apart from the tragedy of it and the bloodshed and the people that have died, you've got the practical impact on people's lives. People won't have been able to get their possessions, won't have been able to pick up their cars. It'd be chaos, because that shopping centre is still a crime scene.
Sure.
So he's saying that he doesn't know, because obviously the reporters are like a dog with a bone with this. They want to know about this suspect. They want to know as much as possible about him. You'll find that the next press conference we look at, the actual press conference from Brisbane, where he comes from, or where he was living before, because he seems to have been in this area for about a month. But they also described him as itinerant, which I presume means that he was homeless. I don't know, but he doesn't, he's quite reluctant because I think the investigations are probably still going on. I mean, it's only been 24 hours. So, they've got to go into all his computers, his phone, and, try and find out more about him. And maybe they will find a motive. Maybe they'll tell from his rantings and ravings or whatever, internet history he's got. But what he's saying, and he's right to do it, is you can't confirm it. It's not confirmed yet. There's still a new. Oh, so I just want to say hello to Faye and anyone else I haven't said hello to, because I'm sure I missed people coming in. I don't think I said hello to Simon, and there may be others of you. I'm sorry if I miss you when you came in, but sometimes when I'm watching a video or commentating, I miss people coming in. But hello, everybody, and thank you for being here. So that was an interesting bit of information, wasn't it? Apparently, he has a storage unit in that area. So if, as Quizzical says, he was living in his car, he's obviously put some stuff in a storage unit. Apparently, it's a very small storage unit. And he does. I mean, they're asking, obviously, then the press are going to ask about the storage unit. But I think either on this press conference or the other one that we're going to watch, they do say that they don't think there was anything connected to the incident in the storage unit. But, investigation's in its early days.
Look, I don't think so. I do not think so. However, we will continue to work through the inquiry. It is.
Hi, Maria. And I thought I'd forgotten you as well. Hi, Yvonne Payne.
People in this very, very difficult time. Thank you very much.
Okay, so that's one. That was the police update from Sydney. Now we're going to look at. Now I get mixed up with the. I think this is Brisbane. Let's have a look. This is the QLD. That's Queensland, isn't it? That it stands for. You know, I'm rubbish with initials, but I do think I'm right there. I think QLD stands for Queensland. I think I've got that right. And Brisbane, this has come from. And I think this actual press conference, we get more, if you like, more information comes out of this than came out of the other one. But anyway, you tell me what you think.
That have occurred in Bondi overnight. Certainly, our organisation expresses our thoughts and condolences with the family and friends of the victims involved in this horrific tragedy. It would have been extremely confronting for everyone, including our first response officers and those persons in the shopping centre during this event and those who have attended the scene. The information we have from the intelligence we have in Queensland, which we have shared with New South Wales Police in a cooperative manner, is that the person involved in the horrific crime has acted alone and there's no ongoing threat to our community. We have worked closely with the New South Wales Police Service yesterday evening, overnight, and today to share information and intelligence and assist with the investigations so that the New South Wales Police can undertake their complex investigations into this event, certainly in the preparation for a coronial brief for the New South Wales State Coroner.
Yeah, so they seem to know more about this guy because obviously this is where he was before. He'd only been in the other area, the New South Wales area. He'd only been there for a month, I think. So it makes you wonder, why did he go there to do? Did he go there specifically to do that, or did he go there and then, maybe expecting, hoping his life would change, and then it didn't, and then he just snapped while he was there? There's so much that they've got to find out, and I think they will find it on his social media, on his computer if he had one, but he had a phone, definitely. They're going to find some information about it on there.
We understand that these investigations take time and the success is dependent on the cooperation of all agencies involved to share the intelligence, particularly where this individual has been a resident of Queensland and is considered a person from Queensland. He's a 40-year-old man, as you're aware, and certainly the name has been released. He is a person whom has been identified as being known to the Queensland Police Service. In that regard, whilst the investigations are in their infancy and we're still conducting thorough investigations to assist.
So Quizzical's saying there he was a male escort. I mean, how do you know that, Quizzical? Where did you get that information from? I mean, I've got to say he was very handsome, on the photos that they show of him before he on that day, he looked like unkempt, didn't he, with his beard, etc. But on the photos that they showed of him before that, he was a very handsome guy. We looked at a photo right at the beginning of this video. So, maybe his mental health deteriorated. But anyway, let me know how you know that, because online. Yeah, the thing is, we've got to wait. I think, that's probably unconfirmed. So until to me, if once they confirm that, once it's confirmed he's a male escort or whatever, I mean, because there's so many rumours going around at the moment about him, I prefer to wait for the official.
New South Wales, I can say that the man has never been arrested by police in Queensland, nor has he been charged with any criminal offence.
So there you go. He's never been arrested nor charged with any criminal offence. So he's very clear to say that. Now, but however, he is known to the police. So, you know, there's something, maybe, you know, maybe it's because of his mental health issues. Maybe he was a male escort. It'll come out.
He has been in contact with the police, primarily in the last 4 to 5 years would be the most contact we have had with him. During that contact, we are aware that this individual has suffered from mental health. We are liaising with this man's family in Queensland, and we have spent yesterday evening, last night and today with the family in delivering the message regarding their son and assisting them with regards to providing information to the New South Wales Police Force. The family have cooperated with the Queensland Police Service in this regard, and they are issuing a statement on their behalf with respect to their own condolences and thoughts to the family and friends of those victims involved in this tragedy. Equally, they have sent a message to the New South Wales Police Force with respect to support of the police officer who has killed their son and expressing their concerns for her welfare. As you can appreciate, this is a major investigation.
You know, I think that's very big of the family to do that, because whatever he might be or not be, he is still their son. And for them to release that statement saying they support the police officer who's done that, you know, who at the end of the day has killed their son, I think that's very big of the family to do that. And I think that must have, you know, his family just must feel awful.
And in response to when the Bondi event occurred, the Queensland Police Service and the Commissioner and Deputy Commissioner considered the safety of Queensland in the first instance. We can change our posture in the community in terms of an increased police presence in shopping centres to ensure that Queenslanders are safe and Queenslanders feel safe. And we'll continue to increase that police presence to make sure the community understands they are supported and we are there to make sure they are safe. In saying that, we have no intelligence or concerns of an increased threat environment within shopping centres or the general public within the Queensland environment. But as a precaution, we certainly have increased our footprint. And we'll continue to do so to make sure that Queenslanders are kept safe. Do you have any questions?
What was his last known address in Queensland and where has he lived here?
Okay, so I found some articles about that. I'm going to show you in a moment. We'll listen to the end of this press conference and then we'll have a look at the articles about him being a male escort.
So from the contact with the family, I can say this gentleman has been itinerant over the last few years. He has moved from Brisbane, Kangaroo Point, Carina, and back to his family's residence in the Southern Police region.
What was the nature of the last interaction QPS had with this man?
The last interaction we had with this gentleman, this man, the offender in this instance, was in December 2023, where he was street checked on the Gold Coast. There was no interaction since December 2023 with this gentleman, and from our understanding in speaking to the family, he has been itinerant and has moved to New South Wales.
So they said they'd had no contact with him since December 2023. Well, that's not that long ago. I mean, it's 4 months ago. You know, it's not years ago. So I wonder what that contact was about. And I'm looking forward to reading about him being a male escort now. I mean, I don't know what difference that would make. I mean, you know, there's loads of male escorts. They're not all murderers, are they? But interesting.
We believe he has been sleeping in a vehicle or backpacks, according to the family's information. Understanding that the family do not have regular contact with their son, it is periodic contact where he may respond to a text message.
And when you said street checked, what do you mean by that?
Well, they've probably been worrying about him for years, as I say. So they, you know, every now and again he replies with a text message as far as his family's concerned. But he hasn't been having regular contact with his family. It's very sad. It is sad.
Was he checked over for
a weapon or something on the street in 2023?
So Street Check is an intelligence gathering report undertaken by the Queensland Police Service when we may come in contact with a person that we deem sufficient to stop and speak to them regarding their behaviour or where they may be in a certain precinct. So, for example, Street Check is a way of reporting wanding where we may undertake wanding that we have the powers to do so in the safe night precincts or the transit hubs or on public transport. It's recorded as a Street Check wanding. So a Street Check is an intelligence gathering record by the Queensland Police Service where we may have contact with an individual and the police through their Q-Light devices in their possession can record that interaction with people.
So he would have been displaying some kind of unusual behaviour to have that happen?
Street checks can be recorded for a number of different reasons in respect to contact.
You said that previous interactions indicate that this man has had mental health issues. Can you walk us through?
It's funny, isn't it? Whatever answer he gives it just invokes more questions. So this Street Check thing is interesting. So he was conditioned. So he'd obviously displayed strange behaviour to be on this Street Check thing. But he's sort of, you can see he's like torn between the fact he knows some other things, he knows more information, but he's limited to what information he can give at the moment.
Through in detail, what has given it away to Queensland Police that he has mental health issues? Has he been calling in police to come visit him, or has he acted out in any way or injured anyone? Like, what gave it away for police that he has mental health issues?
So as you can appreciate, this investigation is for the State Coroner of Queensland, and the Queensland Police Service is compiling all the information and intelligence and records we have with respect to our interactions with this person who has committed this crime. In that regard, we will compile all that information for the coroner. We will share and have shared that with the New South Wales Police. So we are still in the process and the infancy of preparing all that material for the New South Wales Police Force.
There are media outlets reporting that he had a history of domestic violence here in Queensland. Is that correct?
He has not been prosecuted or arrested or charged for any offence within Queensland. And
see how he swerves that question, because there's obviously there's something, but he hasn't been charged with anything. So something's happened somewhere along the line, but at the end of the day, he wasn't charged.
He has no record within the courts for a domestic violence order.
What about outside the courts or outside of actual charges? Has he ever been accused of it or had any sort of orders put in place against him?
So there's no orders in place.
When he was strict.
So no orders in place. Having said that, he does not dispute when she says, has there been any reports of domestic violence outside the courts? He did not refute that, but he said there's been no restraining orders put in place.
Check in December. Did he have police officers find him with a knife, or has he been discovered with a knife in previous occasions?
So as you can appreciate, under Queensland law, it is an offence to have in your possession a knife in a public place without reasonable excuse. And the Jack's law of wanding legislation allows us, in certain circumstances, to use the metal detection device to undertake wanding to search persons. In this regard, if we were to find a person in possession of a knife without reasonable excuse, there's likely to be a prosecution. And we know that 1,400 people have been charged with 2,500 offences linked to wanding and Jack's law in Queensland in the last 12 months. In this regard, the person who is subject to the investigations of committing this crime has not been prosecuted for any criminal offence or not been charged with any offence in Queensland and not been found in possession of knives.
Yeah, so he does often say in Queensland, so that doesn't, as somebody just commented there, that doesn't mean to say necessarily he hasn't been, charged in other states.
At the street checks.
In the case that he's never been prosecuted or charged, but police were aware that he had mental health issues, when he went down to live in Sydney, would there be any reason that Queensland police would have to keep track of this person considering he had these mental health issues, or is that not the job of QPS?
So the state coroner will look at the interactions not only with Queensland Police but all other agencies, and that's expected in this type of investigation. The public expects the police and coroner to look at, was this event preventable? Is there any systemic issues that would have contributed to this? So those are in any coronial investigation, and they will form part of the information exchange we will have New South Wales Police. And New South Wales Police will travel up here in the very near future to obviously speak to the family as part of their investigation. We have people in our society who suffer from mental health. They go about their days without trouble, without causing these type of crimes. Mental health in society is not a crime, and we do.
Yeah, and you know that's what I always say as well. It's like can't blame it on. It's, you know, he obviously did have some issues, but that, you know, there's many people who have those sort of issues, and you know, get on with their lives.
Do not run an intelligence regime on persons who suffer from mental health. There'd only be an exchange of information if a person were to present such a security risk in society that we would need to monitor that behaviour. Understanding under the developments in intelligence gathering with the national criminal intelligence system within Australian jurisdictions, information and intelligence is accessible to all states through the NCIS, National Criminal Intelligence System. So New South Wales Police and Victoria Police, where necessary, can access intelligence or information regards an individual in Queensland should they need to.
How is the family doing? Obviously, their son has committed this horrific act, but he's also died. It must be incredibly tumultuous for them.
Look, it's a difficult time to tell anyone they've lost their son. Their first thoughts for us were to express their concerns regarding the family and victims of these crimes, and in particular, their thoughts around the police officer who had to bravely act in such a manner. So they've issued a public statement with respect to that. They're assisting us in all elements that they can to gain an understanding of why their son in this particular case allegedly behaved in this manner and killed people in a public place. And that's really to the crux of the investigation New South Wales Police Service will look at. Why would a person behave and act in such a manner? And the coroner will look at how could this be prevented in the future. At the end of the day, this is not the society we want to live in, and anything we can do from the courts agencies to prevent this type of behaviour, we will.
See, this guy does come over much more empathetic, doesn't he, than Karen? In my opinion, anyway, does come over empathetic. The thing is, yeah, this incident has happened, and you know, you can't take it back. You can't rewind to Friday and change things. All you can do is hope that something can be learnt from it that will prevent it happening in the future. But at the end of the day, mental health issues are unpredictable. I don't know what you can do about mental health issues, really. Maybe have a better mental health. I mean, I know in the UK you have to wait nearly 18 months for an appointment under the National Health Service, you know, which is free at least. I mean, I've been looking at some of your comments about paying for doctors in Australia, etc. And so lucky in the UK and also in Spain. Here in Spain, healthcare is free. I say it's free. You have to pay into the system, and then you get the free healthcare. Now, but having said that, in the UK, I know you have to wait at least 18 months, and I know this from family experience and friends who've had relatives who have needed help desperately, and they've had to wait 18 months for appointments. And so luckily, one of these family members I'm talking about, they're in a financial position where they could pay for private medical, private psychologists, private counsellors for their son. And, you know, luckily for them that they could do that because they've been through hell and back, you know, and they have as a family, and he has as the person who's suffering from the mental health issues. But fortunately, they were in a position to not have to wait for 18 months. Now, If they would have had to wait for 18 months, who knows what would have happened? He could have ended up doing something to himself. He could have ended up doing, he wouldn't have ended up doing anything like that. Just 100% wouldn't. Well, I say 100%, maybe by the time he's 40, he would. You know, things change, don't they? But he's definitely easily could have done something to himself. Lots of people, you know, mental health issues are rampant, aren't they? And I think they were made worse by COVID. I think it was Simon said earlier, it's something they put in the vaccine. I don't think it was anything they put in the vaccine, but I think it was just COVID sent everyone a little bit loopy, you know. And if you were young and or if you were already had you know, some mental health issues, COVID wouldn't have helped, would it, in any way, shape or form? I think it made everything worse for a lot of people, you know, people who were already struggling with mental health issues probably got worse over COVID. And then there were other people, you know, to some people it suited, people who were happy. I think with COVID, it just depended really whether you were happy being at home in your own space. Some people can't do that. You know, personally, I can do that. For me now, it's hard to go out sometimes. I'm like the opposite. I find it harder to go out and about since COVID. But some people, you know, COVID would have been an absolute nightmare for them, not being, you know, lockdown, how it affected young people especially, but also everybody. So I think COVID has had a big effect, personally, on the mental health issues. It's like, you know, if you already had a mental health issue before COVID, be 10 times worse after COVID. But yeah.
Sorry, it's been reported that the family came forward to police asking if their son was involved. Do you know if that was Queensland Police or New South Wales Police that happened?
I can say that the family, when viewed footage of the event on TV, believed that may well have been their son, and they reached out to authorities.
And is that because they had concerns that he was capable or he had been displaying some kinds of concerning behaviour?
They saw the footage and believed it may well have been their son, so they reached out to assist authorities during the evening.
Have any of the
I just want to say goodbye to Bridget and hello to Empol, and also hello to somebody else came in then that I feel like I missed. Nanny L, good morning.
Interactions with Queensland Police being related to domestic violence or threats against women? Or the safety of women?
The interactions have mostly been, this gentleman was diagnosed with a mental illness at the age of 17 and has had treatment over the years. From our investigations, it would suggest in the last number of years his mental health has declined, and that will centre on the investigations we undertake with New South Wales. New South Wales Police Force are the lead agency in doing these inquiries, and will provide all the information. And those elements will be examined and reviewed. And I understand Queensland Health is additionally issuing a statement to assist.
So if there is some sort of history of relating to allegations of domestic violence or threats or a danger to women?
I've already said that there's no order in place with respect to this individual, or no action before the courts with the domestic and family violence. But the entirety of his...
Yeah, he says that about 30 times in this interview. He keeps saying there is nothing, and they keep asking him the same question. But anyway,
history will be examined with New South Wales Police Force.
Was he ever assessed as a fixated threat? Was he ever assessed? Sorry, one more question. Was he ever assessed by the fixated threat assessment unit with police and health authorities?
He's not been identified as a fixated threat risk. Understanding that the Fixated Threat Assessment Centre deals with threats against public office holders.
What employment was he with?
that's an interesting concept. That Fixed Ideation Control Centre, because that's it's important because people do get fixations on public figures, or they get fixations on certain races or certain religions or women or men. That's how the mind can work when people have mental health issues. They can just all sort of comes together and the blame goes on one particular corner of society, you know, justified or not, that's what happens in people's minds. And they could become fixated against a certain person, or fixated against a certain religion or a certain nationality, you know. So you can't underestimate. This is why I don't understand why there's not more money invested in mental health investigations, because I think mental health issues can be just as, if not more, serious and devastating in their consequences as cancer.
No employment to my knowledge.
How many times was he visited by police in relation to mental health?
Well, mental health is a theme in the most recent contacts with police. In contact with police, we've identified the individual suffers from mental health. That's on our records, and that's information we've shared with New South Wales, and that'll form the basis of their investigation and understanding why in April 2024 would an individual act in such a horrific manner.
Have police made any referrals to Queensland Health in relation to mental health?
So that I'll say it again, is that all the contact with police.
2023. Prior to that, can you give us a rough number of how many interactions he had with police?
The majority of the contact he's had with police has been over the last 4 years, from 2020 onwards, and it's a different type of contact.
And
When was
it
the last time
random?
he contacted his family?
The last contact with the family was in March, to my understanding. So there's been limited contact with his family in terms of phone calls or texts. He would periodically text his mother with an update to where he was.
Did he have any family of his own? He didn't have a partner or children?
To my knowledge, he is a single man with no family.
It's been reported that he had a knife obsession and his family had taken away his knives. Did he ever call the cops on his family because they took away his knives?
We're aware of an event in 2023 which we're investigating, but again, that forms part of the more broader inquiries into his conduct, his health, his interaction with treating practitioners, and his recent whereabouts in New South Wales, where he may be living, and what changed from a person who's 40 and has for a number of years functioned in society to commit such horrific crime. I think they're the important questions for the New South Wales Police Force, and they're the ones certainly we're working closely with to assist them in all our information, all our inquiries. They're the lead agency, they're the lead investigation, and it's important that we're able to sit down with the New South Wales Police Force and assist them in compiling the history of this individual, which goes before a coroner to assess.
So the police know about it.
Sorry, what happened in that 2023 incident involving
As I said, every interaction is subject to the information sharing with the New South Wales Police Force, and that with others will form part of their investigation. It's early in their investigation, and it's a complex investigation for them. So they will come to Queensland, and we will share further information. We've shared to intelligence overnight and been working with them since yesterday.
So police knew about his knife possession? Did they know about his obsession with knives previously?
I'll say it again, and what I can say is that
He's like, really, he's had it up to here with these reporters asking him the same question over and over again. And I think he's been very honest and forthright. He's said as much as he can say, and there are things he can't say yet, but they keep asking him the same question over and over again.
we've had contact with this individual involved in committing these crimes primarily over the last 4 or 5 years, and we know from those contacts he has mental health. We responded to an event in early 2023 with he and his family, and that'll form subject to the investigations. But he's never been charged with any offence relating to knife, never been found in possession of knives, in a manner that's unlawful that would warrant prosecution.
Are police aware of any links to any conservative Christian religious groups at all?
No, and I can reaffirm that the New South Wales Police Force, as the lead agency in this investigation, have spoken on that. There is no ideology that would suggest this matter has a religious focus, has a political focus, or any ideology or religious motivation, to our understanding, that would contribute to an individual going into a crowded place and committing a crime of this nature. So no.
What mental health issues do you suffer from?
Well, that's a matter for the New South Wales Police Force to investigate, and that's a matter for, they will need to seek information from treating practitioners and Queensland Health, who have provided a statement.
Was family
Cool.
aware of why he moved? Was family aware of why he moved to Sydney?
He has led an itinerant lifestyle over the last number of years, where he's come and gone from Brisbane or Carina or the Gold Coast, where that's been primarily where the locations where the Queensland Police Service has had interaction, frequently back to his parents' residence in the Southern Police region. He's 40 years of age. He lives independently of his parents. So he's not in regular contact with them, or they were aware he was interstate, but they don't have regular contact with him, and it's not the lifestyle of being itinerant and being away from home is not something that they knew where he was at every given day, or what stage of treatment he may well or not been under, or what his health was at that time. So they were aware he was not in Queensland through tests, but not aware of where or how or whom he may have been associating or living with, or where he may have been.
Do Queensland Police have any information that might assist in why he seemed to target women in particular?
No. Thank you.
All right, the Assistant Commissioner there in Queensland, providing quite a considerable amount of new information there.
Yes, definitely. I think that was a much more informative press conference than the one from the Sydney Police, to be honest. But okay, so let's have a look at this thing that came up about him possibly being an escort. So remember, everything has to be proven. So this is the New Zealand Herald. Sydney stabbing attacker Joel Couchy was a male escort, had a history of mental illness, and was known to police. I'm going to look for more articles about this, but apparently, according to the New Zealand Herald, the man who murdered 6 people and injured another 12 when he went on a frenzied stabbing attack in a Sydney shopping centre had a history of mental health issues. Well, they're saying he was schizophrenic. That's the first time that we've heard that. And he had been working as a male escort before his rampage. He was Joel Couchy, 40, of Brisbane, unknown to police. And here he is. Here's a picture of him. I say look thinner than that. I'm not saying he's fat there. Obviously he's not. But on the footage from the shopping centre, from the actual incident itself, I'd say he'd lost weight from there. So the family have released a statement, which of course that they have. Right, so that's it from that. Let's have a look at some other articles about this. The Telegraph. Yeah, so he's a handsome guy, good-looking guy. Sydney attacker was a teacher turned a male escort, according to them. So the man who murdered 6 people in a busy shopping centre was a teacher turned male escort who was known to authorities because of previous concerning behaviour, including an unusual interest in knives. The attacker attacker has been named or identified as Joel Couch, a 40-year-old who had been sleeping rough after moving from Queensland to Sydney, where he was shot dead. And then it talks about the statement from the family again, which we've already looked at. This is the lady Ash, who died, unfortunately, the mother of the little girl who was in hospital, serious but stable. And his family said they've been in touch with both the New South Wales Police Force and Queensland Police Service, and we have no issues with the police officer who shot our son, as she was only doing her job to protect others. And we hope she's coping all right. That's very magnanimous of them, really, because at the end of the day, that is their son. So Inspector Amy Scott shot Couchy after he lunged at her with the knife he had already used. Now, luckily for her, there was a witness there who heard her tell him to drop the knife. He didn't. He lunged at her, so she shot him. She had to. So, yeah, as we mentioned earlier, amongst the victims was Jade Young. I think that's the first time, actually, I've seen that name. 47, Dawn Singleton. She was the son of this millionaire businessman, as we said earlier. Faraz Tahir, 30, from Pakistan. This is Dawn Singleton. Oh, where's that gone? Just disappeared. Always jumps when you go on these newspapers for some reason. Where's that picture gone? Oh, there it is. So she was shopping for makeup for a wedding, bless her. Oh, dear me, dear me, dear me. Very sad, very sad. So let's have a look. There was this YouTube video of him here he is at a shopping centre. So this is Saigon Noodle Bondi. So he decided to eat something before he went off and stabbed all those people, did he? Let's have a look at this. Hi, Minnie Angel, and hi, Jojo, and hi, anyone else I might have missed, because sometimes I do miss people coming in. So this is CCTV footage taken just before the attack. Good, she doesn't know how lucky she was. Well, she'll know now how lucky she was. There he is, just calmly buying some bloody sushi or whatever. And this woman, she'll be looking at this after and thinking, oh my God. Because he could have just gone mad in there, couldn't he? Yeah.
Good evening. This is a special.
Very lucky escape, all those people in that cafeteria. Oh, I don't know if that is a man or a woman behind the counter. I think it is a woman. Let's just have a look at this Sydney.
Good evening. This is a special edition of 7 News as Sydney grieves the senseless loss of 6 innocent lives to a crazed killer, now identified as a 40-year-old man from Queensland with an obsession with knives who deliberately targeted women. Tonight, tributes are growing for those murdered and the dozen people stabbed, 7 still in hospital, 2 in a critical condition. We're also learning of the extraordinary acts of bravery by shoppers who sprang into action to stop the stabber and the lone female police officer who confronted him and then shot him dead. Just why and how this tragedy unfolded as families were enjoying a Saturday afternoon here is becoming clearer. Robert Ovadia begins our extensive coverage.
Sydney is grieving at Westfield Bondi.
In a place that we work in and socialise in and we live in is not right.
at church services.
I was devastated. Just that horror of those people.
You can see it, you can feel it. These are the victims of the Bondi Junction massacre. Dawn Singleton, daughter of media mogul John, architect and mother of two Jade Young, Westfield security guard Faraz Tahir, 38-year-old new mother Ash Good. One day, if her baby girl survives herself, she'll be told what mum did for her on April 13, 2024. A day the worst of humanity inspired the best of us.
The events of yesterday have shocked the nation.
Ash's baby was stabbed in her pram and mum chose to thrust her to strangers to protect her rather than protect herself from a maniac.
That is Ash through and through. She did what any mother would have done to protect her child. She was one very, very special lady.
Joel Couchy's knife would kill Ash, 5 others, and wound. Couchy has a history of schizophrenia, wearing an Australian Kangaroos rugby league jersey. He embarked on a stabbing frenzy that has sickened Australia.
Sydney has suffered a horrifying and violent attack on innocent people who were doing something everybody does on the weekend, and that is going shopping.
And we heard everyone screaming, a gun, gun, gun. And it was like an apocalyptic film, everyone just running like a rampage.
These pictures show what he means. The reaction as shoppers were first hearing what was happening before seeing for themselves. A man running with a pram, the killer himself accosting someone, shoppers fleeing different directions, all with the same urgency. Detective Inspector Amy Scott was running too, toward the danger.
God, it was absolute chaos, wasn't it? And then this brave Amy Scott running, like I say, Lara Croft, that's what I was saying from the beginning. She's just like Tomb Raider, laser focus. She's going to get this guy and stop him doing what he's doing. And she did.
And as the killer targeted women far more than men, ultimately it was a woman who killed him.
I was behind the police officer.
Hi, David. Have you come back richer or poorer? Nice to see you back, David. Yeah, it's quite fateful, isn't it? Or quite sort of, what's the word? Because there was recently that rally in Ballarat over the 3 women that have been murdered, against male violence. And then it's almost like karma, if you like. I don't know what this is. So this guy has gone out and killed another 5 women in Australia. And I don't think he necessarily targeted women. I just think he found women an easier target and children. That's why I think that how he could stab that baby, I don't think I'll ever get my head around that. It's bad enough stabbing the women, but what sort of person stabs a baby? But anyway, and then it was a female police officer. Let's have a look at a picture. Let's just see her running again and the photo of her. So it's like poetic justice, really, that he was killed. He was stopped in his tracks by a woman.
And as the killer targeted women far more than men, ultimately it was a woman who killed him.
I was behind the police officer when she discharged a firearm, and I have to admit she was amazing. She gave him clear instructions. He lunged straight at her, and she shot him. She went straight from shooting this guy to giving CPR. And then what she did is she went straight to policing. She moved people away.
That image.
God, he was getting upset, that guy. So what, this will have had a massive effect on people. Massive effect on people.
That we see of her bending over to try and resuscitate a man that she's probably just killed is a compelling hero image.
She's with her family today, which is important, but this state owes her an enormous debt of gratitude.
Amy Scott was not the only hero yesterday. Some armed themselves with...
No, she wasn't the only hero, but she will be going through trauma today because, I'll get upset myself now, because even though obviously, she did what she had to do and expect, this is what she's trained for, this is what her job is. But even so, it won't be easy to realise you've taken someone's life, even if it was a total twonk and you had to do it. You can't she's got to come to terms with that, and her family, she's with her family today, they say. I'm sure sooner or later she'll have to be interviewed by the police, because she'll have to go through the proper procedure whenever there's a police, there's a killing by the police. They still have to investigate it and go through all the proper channels. So she'll have to go through all that eventually, and I'm sure eventually she will give some sort of interview or whatever.
Chairs, others threw them, and French national Damien Guiraud held off Cauchy with a bollard as he advanced up an escalator.
I mean, this was brilliant as well. This guy just got whatever, a bollard apparently it was, to stop him coming up the escalator. So there's a lot of brave, although it was a horrible, horrible incident, I think there's a lot of positivity as well. There's a lot of positives we can take out of people's reactions. And, these heroes, unsung heroes, the public, not only the police, people trying their best to help. The two brothers that hopefully have saved that baby's life by stemming the blood, etc. There's all these little, so in this one big story, if you like, of this guy going and stabbing all these people, there's lots of little stories as well, isn't there? There's lots of little asides to it. Everybody, the amount of people that have been affected, from actual people who were stabbed and recovered, and then down to people who were just cowering, hiding in a shop because all the shops brought their shutters down, didn't they? There's little acts of heroism everywhere, as well as the negativity. So, this guy is one of them, one of the acts of heroism.
I see the situation. I don't see the guy. I don't see who he was. I just see someone crazy doing crazy stuff. That's it.
We are not looking for anyone else, and we have no other concerns, and people
Hide
should
blank
not be
faces.
concerned that there is
hide blank faces.
any ongoing threat.
Cauchy had arrived at Westfield Bondi Junction a couple of hours before the massacre, carrying the backpack from which he would draw the knife. He ate lunch there.
He just looked like confused, just like when taking order is taking like a long and just just order.
Oh, so this is this woman is speaking from the restaurant that we just saw him buying sushi or whatever he bought in. So, gosh, she must feel lucky escape, definite lucky escape.
Just like that.
Shoppers and shop owners were back at Westfield today.
So she said he seemed dazed, confused. He was drugged up, or maybe he's on medication, or maybe he was just in that mental state. Well, they'll do toxicology reports, of course.
The door. A couple of people came in wanting to feel safe, which I let them in, closed the door and just watched everything unravel.
As floral tributes continue to mount,
Mini Angel, they just showed the bollard man. Let's go. I'll go back and show it again. Here he is. Damien Gerrotz is the bollard hero. So, yeah.
Who he was. I just see someone crazy doing crazy stuff. That's it.
We are not looking for anyone else, and we have no other concerns, and people should not be concerned that there is any ongoing threat.
Cauchy had arrived at Westfield Bondi Junction a couple of hours before the massacre, carrying the backpack from which he would draw the knife. He ate lunch there.
He just looked like confused, just like when taking order is taking like a long and just just order chicken curry, just like that.
Shoppers and shop owners were back at Westfield today.
I locked the door. A couple of people came in wanting to feel safe, which I let them in, closed the door and just watched everything unravel.
As floral tributes continue to mount, there are those who know they are fortunate to have escaped.
The panic was huge, like people were screaming and babies were crying and mums were hysterical as well.
Those at one of 4 Sydney hospitals fortunate to have escaped death but not injury. That includes Yvonne Weinberg, who was released today.
Definitely counting our blessings that she's still here and alive and breathing and still with us.
And there are others haunted by these images as they tried to save the injured and dying. Bondi lifeguard Andrew Reid is among them.
Then we did a little bit more CPR, but she was in a really bad way.
Yeah, so this is Andrew Reid, who's a Bondi lifeguard. Good job he was there, because he's got experience in, you know, resuscitation, etc., or first aid. So I'm sure he did what he could. But I think, you know, these people as well, they're going to need counselling, aren't they? Because the people who tried to save people but eventually they couldn't, they'll feel guilty, because that's what, in these cases, everyone always feels guilty, even though it wasn't their fault. You know, that's just human nature for good people to feel guilty if they feel like they couldn't do enough. But thank you, Andrew, another hero.
I just went around the corner of the escalators, and what I saw was just horrific. Like, it was just multiple victims spread out over like 50-metre distances. Just devastating to think that someone could do something like that to anybody, let alone a baby.
In the immediate aftermath of this atrocity, the possibility of terrorism for police was compelling, not only because of the random nature of the attacks, but also specifically because of where it was, a Jewish enclave against the backdrop of conflict in the Middle East. It wasn't terrorism, though, and at least one of the victims is Muslim. Faraz Tahir fled Pakistan as a refugee, dying as he protected citizens in his adopted country. Dawn Singleton was raised not far from where she died.
Most perfect human being that I've ever met. Like, she's so sweet, so humble, so down to earth.
Of 11 patients transported to hospital, 10 were women. Most of the dead were women. So was that an ideology, or were they just softer targets?
I can say that the man has never been arrested by police in Queensland, nor has he been charged with any criminal offence.
Couchy was diagnosed with schizophrenia aged 17. He was raised in Toowoomba.
He sort of kept to himself. He was quiet. He didn't mix a lot with other children, I don't think.
You know, mental health issues normally start in the teens, don't they? You know, so he's it's awful. It's awful. I feel for his family. I really feel for his family as well.
His family is in shock.
They have sent a message to the New South Wales Police Force with
Hey, Chumba. Hi, Chumba.
respect to support of the police officer who has killed their son, and expressing their concerns for her welfare.
Couchy came to Sydney earlier this year, no fixed address, and his belongings were kept at a storage facility. A male escort with no criminal history who gains infamy now as one of Australia's worst mass murderers.
People going about their Saturday afternoon shopping should be safe, shouldn't be at risk. And for people who were forced to be locked in shops, people who ran from danger, people who confronted that danger, ordinary Australians putting themselves in harm's way in order to help their fellow citizens. That bravery was quite extraordinary.
We have our team standing by in key locations across our city and overseas with the very latest details. First to Robert Ovadia. Rob, this mall has become a focal point for a grieving community.
Mark, absolutely. And the floral tribute will continue to grow and grow over the next couple of days, keeping in mind it is Sunday evening. We've seen plenty of people here today, but businesses will open and there will be plenty of people around tomorrow and attracting customers and people who just want to be a part of that in that terribly emotional way. Tonight here at the scene, there are clearly those who knew some of the victims or knew some of those who have been caught up in this. They're quite emotional. There are others who are just here to pay their respects. And tonight, as we go to air just a couple of minutes ago, it began a tribute from sections of the Muslim community, not only to the Pakistani refugee who was killed in this horrific act, but for all the victims here yesterday.
Robert Ovadia, thank you.
So, so it seems that, he was a male escort. And the last thing I want to say about this case is there's a Daily Mail article I want to share that's got some photos and you might find it interesting. And then I'm going to move on to the next case we're going to look at briefly. So, Joel Couch's double life as a male escort is revealed as new details emerge about the Bondi Junction Westfield attack. I have shared it, I think. Let me just make sure it comes on. Why is it not coming on? Oh, it is on. Yeah. Just takes its time. There's a lag between what I'm doing and when you get it on there. So, Bondi Junction Westfield killer Joel Couch had profiles on various escort websites where he offered services for both men and women. Oh my God! If you had, had his services, you'd be thinking you've had a lucky escape. So he was shot dead after fatally stabbing 6 people. He was schizophrenic, so that's something new we've learned today. And police are treating the horrific attack as mental health related. What is this? No. So he's distraught. So here he is. Yeah, good looking guy. His distraught family is understood to have frantically contacted police who were so they'd seen it on the TV. They saw it on the TV and recognized their son, and they phoned the police. New details are starting to emerge. So apparently he's from Queensland, as we know, but he moved to Sydney in recent months, and he listed himself on several male escort websites, including Australia Cracker, Empire Escorts, and Escorts Australia. All websites allow users to upload their pictures and solicit their own sexual services. Yeah. Blank faces, you're talking about caring. Just go. Shh! Stop! No. So it's that. Oh, God. She's just literally opened the bathroom door and come out. It's that Raoul Moat's out again. No, the bangers are going off. There must be a football match going on. Oh, I know it's not your fault, but you can't be barking. I know you can't be barking. So sorry about that, because some of you will be listening on earphones and it's probably split your ears. Okay. Right, I've forgotten what we're saying. Oh, yeah, because Blank Faces had said about caring the community. That was Mrs. Thatcher who brought that in, caring the community. Not that it was brilliant, the mental health services before that, because everyone was locked up, weren't they? Just used to lock people up. So that's not necessarily a good thing either. But caring the community, it didn't work for the community, because I literally remember in Manchester, in Piccadilly Gardens in Manchester town centre, suddenly there was lots of people wandering around that were really quite scary, not for their fault, because they had mental health issues. But the thing is, what happened under caring the community was just let everybody out, but not everybody was safe to be out. That's the thing. So listen, it's a very complex issue, and I'm not saying I know what the answer is, but all I do know is the answer is doing something, because people like this guy, he was not helped, and because he was not helped, 6 people have died, and others are, serious but stable in hospital. So apparently all these websites allow users to upload their pictures and solicit their own sexual services. And that's it. There's a lot of people wandering about who probably, not everybody who's got mental health issues is a danger to society, of course, but some are, and there's got to be more that can be done. So this is Escorts AU. Apparently these have been taken down now, but it's asking to contact him for a fun time. Oh my God. Oh my God, just the thought of it. You know, imagine there'll have been people alone with him in a room. I wonder if they felt that he was scary. You know, are other things going to come out? Anyway, it says age 35 to 40, height 170 to 174 centimeters, hair color black, hair type short, eyes green, body type solid, gender male, what? Bust female appendage. What the hell does that mean? What does that mean? Bust female appendage male cut. I don't even know what that means. But anyway, I don't want to know what that means really. Country of origin, Australia, caters for, and that's been blocked out. So yeah, he seemed to have gone from this, which is, you know, a handsome guy by the look of it, and you know, then he looks very thin on these, and obviously looks more haunted in his face, and also, you know, in those pictures of him at the sushi bar, he did look like he was very shaky on his feet, and the restaurant owner said he seemed confused. So maybe he was on medication, maybe he took drugs. You know, and then suddenly he was running around the shopping centre. So maybe he took a sniff of coke or something. All that will come out, of course, in the toxicology report, won't it? So yeah, he described himself as an athletic, good-looking 39-year-old looking for a fun time. He offered dozens of closed-door services which are too graphic to publish. I expect they'll all come out on social media eventually. He had an active presence online. He'd posted in numerous Facebook pages seeking surfing buddies in Sydney, advice about his astrophotography hobby, and joined a New South Wales single adults group. Oh my God, they do walk amongst us. You could have gone for a coffee with that guy. His Google review history also reveals he frequented strip clubs in Sydney and northern South Wales, describing them as amazing venues with extremely sexy dancers. And 3 years ago, he left a scathing review of a Queensland knife business, claiming they ruined his knives when he took them to be repaired. All right, sorry, we have to put her out the back. Stop. Anyway, he said dealing with this business has been a night. Oh, it's going to be banger after banger now. Dealing with this. Right, let me put her out the back. No, you can't do that, bad girl. Come on. Come on. No. Here. I should probably be able to get out there as well. So sorry about that, but the bangers going off outside set her off, bless her. Okay, so yeah, he said dealing with this business has been a nightmare for me. I put in 2 knives, one of which is pretty expensive to be sharpened, and he blunted them both, he wrote. I made sure that I clearly, repeatedly and correctly gave all the instructions when I put them in, and he blunted them. He was very unhelpful afterwards. She's opened that door. Stop. Oh, I might have to just stop. And then was very unhelpful afterwards, either being unable or unwilling to fix the job, leaving me with 2 blunt knives that are basically useless now. So he's whinging about his knives being blunt. Useless for what? I mean, what was he using them for? You know, it's quite scary, isn't it, really? you know. Yeah, let me. I mean, it's a shame. It's not my dog's fault because it's the stupid bangers that are going on outside. It's her. It's the big dog. So yeah, so this guy takes his knives to be sharpened and then whinges that they're not sharp enough because they're basically useless. I mean, what was he using them for? What was he using them for? I'm very disappointed, he said, even though I was offered a $25 refund as the knives cost hundreds of dollars. I found his support to me after the job had been finished was extremely poor also. However, in response, the business owner said he followed Couch's instructions and had informed him prior to taking on the job that one of his knives was not completely straight. After I completed the job, you said you were extremely happy with the polished extended edges. Tia, right. Right, you're going to have to go out the back and I've got to put the blind down now. Well, no, come on, this way, come on. Go on, go on. No, go on. Go on. Yeah. Go on, I know you're scared. You're not to bark then. Don't bark. She doesn't want to go out the back because she's scared of the bangers, so I'm not going to make her go out. I'm so sorry, there's not really much I can do. So anyway, the guy said to him, after I completed the job, you said you were extremely happy with the polished edges. It's been about 6 to 7 weeks since you had them sharpened and you will have used them a few times since. So according to your conversation, so yes, they will not be as sharp now. I offered you the sharpening refund as I guarantee my work. I'm extremely sorry. You're unhappy. Take care. Good luck. Oh, so apparently his last meal was a red chicken curry he bought at Bondi Junction Saigon Noodle at 12:22 on Saturday. 3 hours. What did he do in those 3 hours? So that was 3 hours before his stabbing rampage. I mean, that's quite a long time, 3 hours. I wonder what he did with his. I wonder what he did with those 3 hours. It's a long time, isn't it, since he had his lunch? And 3 hours later, he went on his rampage. So quite a long time, that. Okay, I don't think there's anything new then that's him going up the stairs. We've seen that. It does look completely different there, doesn't he? If you look at him there, how gaunt he looks. You know, and of course he's got the great big machete or knife or whatever in his hands, but there's a big difference to how he looks there to how he looks here. You know, you can see the deterioration in his appearance. So, okay. So I think we've got quite a lot of new information there so far from the videos we've seen and the articles we've read and the videos we've watched. So I'm going to finish that subject now. And I'm not going to talk about the war, I've decided, not with all the bloody bangers going off. It feels like I'm in a war zone. I want to tell you an update in another case that we've been following, which is the case of the 2 missing mums. Oh. She's actually eating at the moment, and so she's trying to bark and eat at the same time. She's probably you're going to end up choking if you try and bark and eat at the same time. I just don't even know what these bangers are for. You know, this is what happens in my little village. They just let off bangers. I'm going to have to get a little emoji done about bangers. You know, the round moat bangers. Sounds like a bloody gunshot going off. There's another one, you know, it's just for no reason whatsoever, just for the hell of it. You know, that's what happens in little villages in Spain. Let's let off bangers for nothing because, you know, we're all brain dead. I don't know. But just what the point of the bangers is, I don't know. I think one is enough. We don't need 10 to let us know something's going on. I don't even know what's going on. I think there might be a bicycle race or something. Okay, so yeah, we're talking about the two missing moms in America, Gillian Kelly and Veronica Butler. So Veronica was taking her children. Oh no, she was going to collect her children, pick up her children. You know, it's one of these custody battles. And, you know, they'd gone off, Veronica had gone off to pick up the children from the family of her ex-partner. All right, from the family of her ex-partner. And for some reason, they'd picked this place to meet out in the wilderness, like something from Deliverance, you know, right out in the wilds. But I think that's just the area is like that. And she'd taken her friend with her, her friend Gillian with her, as moral support, I suppose. Now, her ex-partner was in rehab. So it was the family she was going to pick them up for. Anyway, they disappeared, these women. Their car was found. There was blood all around their car. Let's have a look at the story, first of all. So now the mother-in-law has been arrested. The grandma of the children has been arrested along with 3 other people. Stop. Shh. Tia, come here. I think I'm going to have to tell you about this another time because this is impossible. So all the dogs in the street are barking now. So I'm thinking, if it happens again, I think I'm going to have to do this another time in a video or something and show you. Oh, I want to show you the video of when they were arrested first. We'll try. We'll struggle through. Bloody ridiculous it is. At the house of the grandparent, the grandmother, I think her partner, and another couple. So 4 people have been arrested. The SWAT teams go in. This is when the SWAT teams went to arrest them. So what you can see clearly is the area. I mean, look at it. It's completely desolate. Where are these women? Where are their bodies? You know, where have they been hidden? So they'll probably start searching the property now. Where are these women? So apparently there was evidence around the car where they'd been found. It's not probably pools of blood, apparently. So just to show you that was the actual arrest. Now we're going to look at the news article. Hopefully we won't get any more bangers, but we probably will. So the mother-in-law of the missing Kansas mum and her friend are arrested in a huge Oklahoma SWAT raid. So Veronica Butler, 27, and Gillian Kelly, 39, were traveling together to pick up Veronica's children, ages 6 and 8. I mean, where were the children? Where were the children? Where were all the... Stop. Where were the children when all this was happening? You know, where were they? Because they were at the grandma's. Anyway, there's a nasty divorce and custody battle going on. with the husband, Wrangler Cole Rickman, but he was in rehab. Multiple puddles of blood were found near the vehicle in the desolate Oklahoma panhandle. So that's how the police knew that there had been foul play right from the beginning, really. So the mother-in-law of one of two Kansas women who went missing has been arrested. I've got some photos of them. There might be a photo here. But, oh God, these adverts drive you mad, don't they? Yeah, this is that video again on Twitter, I think. The same video. Yep, there's your SWAT teams arriving. Oh, there's a lot of vehicles. A lot of vehicles, isn't there? So these are the two women. We've got Veronica, who's left on the left. She's the mother of the children that were in the custody battle. And her friend, who she took with her for moral support, 39. They were travelling together to pick up the children. And boom, gone. But the bodies haven't been found, but the police were convinced right from the beginning that they were dead. This is where the car was found abandoned, so it's a very solitary spot, as you can see. And it was, she had weekly court-mandated visits every Saturday with the kids. And she was not getting on with her mother-in-law. There was a lot of acrimony. So this visit was meant to celebrate Veronica's 6-year-old daughter's birthday, and they'd made the 45-minute drive from Hugoton to a gas station in Eva, located near the Four Corners section of Oklahoma. But they disappeared, with the car found just 3 miles from where they were supposed to meet. And these puddles of blood were found, and yeah. Now, I want to just show you the photos of the people that have been arrested, because it doesn't look brilliant. I've got a photo of them somewhere. But I need to do, I mean, I'm sorry, that video, this video, it's not been good, this part, because of the barking, I know. But I just want to show you the picture of them. Why isn't that coming up? Right. So these are the people that have been arrested. So I don't know. I hope you can see it okay. Let's see if I can make it. Ah, there you go. So this is the grandma. Her name is Tiffany Adams, the grandma. I mean, how could you do that? Even if there is a bitter custody battle, how could you kill the mother of your grandchildren? You know, like take away their mother. How could you do that? Anyway, they've been arrested, but the bodies haven't been found yet. So here we've got Tiffany Adams. We've got Tad Cullum. Now, this guy looks sort of scary, but there are pictures of him not that long ago. He's another one that seems to have just deteriorated. They've got a picture of him a bit more clean cut, looking a bit more like this guy. But this is how he looks now. Makes you wonder, are they on meth or something like that? Because look at them. It's like scary, isn't it? It is scary. And those children were staying with them. You know, the children were staying with them. Anyway, and these other two people that have been arrested are Cole Twombly and Cora Twombly, and they're all members of the family. Exactly, David. Banjo players. This is deliverance, isn't it? You know, and those children were with them. I mean, awful. Anyway, apparently, the reason probably behind this is custody was going to go back to the mother, full custody. So at this moment, that moment in time, she was sharing custody, ostensibly with the father, but because the father was in rehab, oh God, you just can't believe it. So the father's in rehab. So because instead of just leaving the kids with the mother all the time, the mother had to share custody with these people. Awful. Absolutely awful. Oh, there you go. Minnie's got a banjo emoji up. It is. It's terrifying, isn't it? It's just terrifying. Anyway, we have to remember it's alleged because they haven't even found the women's bodies yet. So, you know, I don't know if, you know, it's difficult, isn't it? Because it's alleged. Nobody's been charged as far as I know. Or have they been charged with murder? I'll try and find out. Let me try and find out while you're just enjoying that view of them. Oh my God, the silence is so nice. Yeah, I don't think they've been charged. Don't think. No. Have we got anything? Have we got a little video that I can show you? Yeah. Suspicion of murder. So, suspicion of, they're in custody on suspicion of murder, apparently. So apparently, all right, here we go. Here's the charges. So all 4 individuals arrested were booked into Texas County Jail Saturday for 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of kidnapping, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit murder in the first degree. But charges have not been filed. Okay, so they haven't filed the charges yet, or at least up to when I'm doing this this video. And yeah, they haven't found the bodies, and there's been a lot of very nasty speculation online, I think. Why do I seem to have lost people? Where am I? Oh, what happened? Oh, there's 2 of me. Right, it's all going wrong. And what am I doing? Right, can you hear me now? Yeah, it all went wrong then, and I ended up with the 2 of me. I think I might have turned off the wrong one. Anyway, I hope you can. I think you can hear me. Yeah, the dog. Yes, the dog's crying for attention. She wants attention now, so I'm going to go and give her some attention. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know what was going on. So I'm going. Thank you for being here with me. I will be back tonight. I'm going to do a video about an update about Sebastian Rogers. And I hope you all have a lovely Sunday, or, you know, depending on which part of the world you are, where you are, what you're doing. Thank you. And so remember, apart from living and loving wisely and carefully, I want to just say, remember, if you're thinking about becoming a member, please, now is the time to do it so I can unlock my other emojis. So I hope you're enjoying the emojis. I think everybody is enjoying the emojis, but I've got so many more. Look, these are the emojis that we've got so far for being a member. And to unlock some more, I have to have more members. So I am making an appeal for members. But thank you for all of you who are already members. Remember to live and love wisely, carefully. Thank you to everyone who watches, subscribes. Don't forget to hit the like. And I'll see you really soon in the next video, hopefully without bomb sound effects, shotgun sounds, dogs barking, hopefully. Okay, thank you so much. Bye. Until I see you again, may your God go with you. Bye.